You're at a party or a gathering, and in the middle of a conversation, you feel it, a pull, not toward the person speaking, but toward the exit, toward the silence on the other side of the door. And later, when you finally slip away, there's a wave of relief, but also a quiet question. Is something wrong with me? You've been told that connection is the goal, that humans are wired for tribe, and that's true, but only half the story. The brain is also wired for solitude, and for some, it's not a fallback, it's a preference. If you enjoy being alone, you aren't broken, you just have a different operating system. Let's look at the architecture behind it. Psychology points to 5 distinct traits often found in those who genuinely prefer their own company. These aren't flaws, they're cognitive signatures. 1. You have a high baseline of self-reflection. Most people's brains seek external stimulation to regulate their mood. They need noise, chatter, input. But your brain generates its own stimulation internally. It's constantly processing, analyzing, and feeling beneath the surface. In psychology, this is tied to what's called private self-consciousness. You're not just aware of the world, you're acutely aware of your place in it. When you're alone, you aren't lonely, you're integrating. Your brain is making sense of the data. 2. You practice emotional regulation differently. For many, being alone triggers the amygdala, the brain's threat detector. It screams, "You're isolated, rejoin the group." But for you, the amygdala is quieter. You've built neural pathways that associate solitude with safety, not danger. This is neuroplasticity at work. You've trained your brain to downregulate stress without needing external reassurance. You're not escaping life when you're alone. You're recalibrating. 3. You possess something called low reward dependence. This is a personality trait studied in behavioral psychology. It means you don't rely heavily on social approval to feel motivated. You don't get the same dopamine hit from praise or attention that others might. Instead, your reward system is triggered by autonomy, by mastery, by the quiet satisfaction of completing a thought or a task without anyone watching. The world rewards extroversion, but your brain rewards depth. 4. You experience creative incubation more intensely. There's a concept in neuroscience called the default mode network. It's the part of your brain that activates when you're not focused on the outside world, when you're daydreaming, walking, staring out a window. For people who enjoy solitude, the default mode network isn't a void, it's a workshop. It connects disparate ideas, it solves problems in the background. You aren't doing nothing, you're harvesting. 5. You have a different relationship with attachment. Attachment theory tells us that humans need secure bonds, but secure doesn't mean constant. You've likely developed what psychologists call a secure autonomy. You can hold intimacy and independence in the same hand. You don't fear being alone because you don't equate solitude with abandonment. You see it as a return to self. And ironically, that makes you more present when you do connect. So here's the mental model. Think of your mind as a house with 2 doors. One opens outward toward the world, the other opens inward toward yourself. Most people are taught to only use the first door, but you've discovered the second. And when you walk through that second door, you aren't hiding, you're home. The silence isn't empty. It's where you refuel, where you process, where you return to the parts of yourself that get blurred in conversation. There's nothing wrong with you. You just understand something that modern culture forgot. That being alone isn't a void to fill. It's a space to inhabit. And in that space, you aren't lonely. You're whole.